You know how some movies are boring or slow or uninteresting? Yeah, well, nobody, doesn't apply to any of those words in the slightest at all. Look, I was expecting to like this movie. I was expecting to like Nobody, but you know what? God damn if this isn't the best movie that I've seen so far in cinemas this year. Or second best. Promising Young Woman, I probably like more, but technically that's a 2020 movie, so let's get that on out of here and just go for the exaggerated thing and say that yes, Nobody is my favorite movie of the year so far. So, I'm a person who says that, I don't love action films that much. I do like specific ones. I like the MCU. I like a lot of different sorts of action movies. But when you throw a bunch of CGI Transformers on the frame and I don't know what's going on and whatever, I get pretty damn bored. And I get a little sleepy. I'm like, yeah, okay, I don't really care. But you throw this sort of action at me where you feel the consequences of each freaking beat, and the editing to it makes everything feel that much more impactful, and boy do I care. Man, this movie does such a good job of having fun with its action, but as well as showing that the situations that are happening on screen are very dangerous. This is a brutal film, god damn, and not a lot of action films film the scenes in these kinds of ways. I feel like a lot of action movies kind of, romanticize the idea of violence and make everything kind of clean. Now, a very obvious comparison that you can make with Nobody is that this movie is kind of basically John Wick, but with a lot of small but fundamental differences. And partly what I was getting at with the violence is one of those fundamental differences is that this movie, like I said, it's brutal. It's all punches, beating up. The title character will use anything at his disposal. He will rip off a bar of the safety rail on a bus and beat somebody up with it, stab somebody with stuff like this. He will do anything like that. Whereas John Wick pretty much exclusively just shoots people and is very clean about it, is very perfect. Everything is very neatly done together in John Wick. It's awesome. I love John Wick, but it does feel very perfect and neat. But this movie does not feel perfect in that kind of way. It's gritty. It's kind of fucked up, some of it. But a lot of it, though, is entrenched in just this fun tone. This movie, unlike John Wick, if you ask me, this movie does a better job of balancing its ridiculousness. Now again, I love John Wick and I have to make the comparison, but John Wick is a film or series that takes itself very seriously. There are moments of comedy and stuff, and him riding a horse in New York and stuff isn't something to take super seriously, I suppose. It's a bit tongue-in-cheek, but not like Nobody. Nobody rides that line between being gritty but also being funny, but also being, ridiculous but mundane as well. The main character has this strong personality where he wants to be part of this action, but he's kind of moved past it in his life, and I think there's something there. Now, something else that's great about this movie, but also different about John Wick, is that unlike John Wick, who goes reluctantly back into action, this character in Nobody actually wants to go back into the action. And it's kind of everything that happens to him from then on is kind of his own doing. He kind of asked for this. And so that brings in this morally great character. We don't quite know to root for him, but at the same time we do, because it's Bob Odenkirk and we love him and he's a fucking badass in this movie. There's just something so fundamentally cool about this character who used to be part of the FBI and stuff and killed people for, I don't know. He has this whole backstory, but you know what? I'm here for the now. I'm here for what happens in this film, and what happens in this film is absolute fucking carnage. And it's some of the best action I've seen put to film in recent years. Maybe the one before that was John Wick 3. That's really the the latest comparison I can think of. Sorry to keep comparing it to John Wick, but that's just this is John Wick, but different. That's simply what this is. And it's great, and I'm all for it. I really, really, really love this movie.